Hey everyone, it's Nick from Nick's Crossing. Welcome back to the train room for a quick tutorial, and I want to tell you guys what I had to do about the nightmare and the project of the smoke unit in this beautiful Williams E7 upgrade. So here we go, guys. All aboard. Guys, a few weeks ago, you the viewers, decided on which locomotive I wanted to upgrade for the sound and smoke, and I gave you guys a couple Williams locomotive options. So we had the P42 Amtrak, my Shark ABA set. We also had a BL2 that's taken apart right now for a future video. And, well, I believe that was it. And then we also had the E7 set. So I have an AA E7 set from Williams. The other A is sitting over here on the track. The other A is on the table in half, hopefully for the last time. And I'll tell you guys, this was a challenge. This really ran me for my money and time, and it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot, and it's pretty clean right now, but I'll tell you guys this, it was not an easy upgrade in the least. Here's the thing, guys. This video was actually botched multiple times. Like, I would say like 5 times, probably. Tried to film this tutorial video. It just was not working out. I couldn't get something that would stick. Anything that I would do would kind of fall apart. I put everything back together, throw it on the track, run it around. Things wouldn't work. Things blew up. Things shorted out. No fires, thankfully, but it was just a nightmare trying to film this smoke unit upgrade video. So instead of filming the process of putting everything in, I'll show you guys what I did. And if you would like to, you can replicate it on your own and just have fun with it. Be safe. I did get burned a lot in the making of this project here. I still have like shiny spots on my fingers. You can see I'm like, they're like scalded over, especially this pointer finger is like all shiny from just being burned over and over. And you guys will find out why. So yeah, so the first Mach 1, before we go topside on the bench, Mach 1 was to take the smoke unit, create a manifold off of the brass outlet nipple piece that they give you for the smoke unit, and take it up to the roof and utilize a manifold to go between all 8 smoke ports. And yes, there's 8, which makes this a lot of fun. It does look cool when it's done right, but that was a challenge. So the first idea was to use this bar stock, real thin, like PVC, and this stuff worked out really well at first, but I had issues attaching the smoke unit to that without it melting or anything like that. So reached out to a friend of mine, Mr. Harry Henning, and he said, Nick, why don't you just use some brass? So bought a piece of brass and then went this route. I was going to make each little individual stack and solder it together. What a nightmare that was. And I have a bunch of brass pieces left over, and this was actually one of the first attempts right there. You can see there's holes drilled. Yeah, totally botched that one as well. So Mach 3 of the smoke unit was to actually just take a piece of brass, go from end to end of all 8 smoke ports, then hollow out the top of the brass to create a manifold, and then at the back, tee up the smoke unit. So that's what I'll show you guys. We're going to go topside really quick, and I'll show you the madness behind this project. But I will say this was probably the hardest upgrade I've done thus far. So let's go topside. Alright guys, I'm sorry my bench is a mess, and as you can see, I was using a voltmeter, which is like one of the first times you guys have ever seen that on this channel. But anyways, here's the inside of the locomotive. So a couple of things you're probably looking at this like, whoa, what happened since the the sound card video or the rail sound video? First off, I had to move the rail sound chip up. So the reverse board is here. I actually had to move the soundboard up to make room for the smoke unit in this pocket. So what I had to do for that is retap a hole in the frame, shove the screw underneath, and it's pretty tight because you have the kind of like the air tank underneath of there and the fuel cell right there, and it just adds extra weight to the center of the frame, but you're really like right up on there. So that's one thing. Now next, what I had to do was once I put everything together, you can see I'm missing a flywheel right here. That's because the flywheel was scraping up against the smoke unit once it was installed, so that was a nightmare as well. So what I had to do is actually cut it out, and yeah, it didn't go as well. So that was cut out. I do plan on putting a small flywheel back in to help her out, maybe make up my own. We'll see. But for right now, it runs okay without it. It misses some momentum there, but it's whatever. So anyways, the smoke unit, here's the manifold right here. And as you can see, it's a piece of brass. It's all kind of hot glued in place. And the brass nipple in the smoke unit is actually soldered to another piece of brass that's vertical, just like that, soldered in there, put into there, soldered to create a T. So everything is all soldered together, no leaks. You can see that we do have some smoke unit residue in here. Probably just leaked out. But yeah, it's a work in progress. It's my first smoke unit conversion. And of course, once you do these conversions, you know, you're in these a bunch of times, tweaking things, resoldering. Like I had to resolder this power lead here, resolder a bunch of stuff off the soundboard. Also had to resolder this wire up here. That's for the backup battery right here. I had to resolder that. It's like, what a nightmare. So this this project has been a little bit of a nightmare, but it does look so cool once it's all done. Now back here is the speaker. I also had to move that and turn it to create room. Geez, what else did I have to do in this thing? I did a lot of rewiring. Oh, also, I didn't tell you guys in the sound video, I rewired the motors in series, not parallel, because in parallel, this locomotive was just taking off and flying too fast. So someone wrote in comments, Nick, wire them in series. So we have one wire coming off the board, goes to the motor, another wire goes to this motor, back to the reverse board, instead of having them all in parallel. Here's another socket down here that's not being utilized. That's all part of that parallel wiring for the DC motors. Yes, this works off of AC to DC to AC, like the sound card uses AC, converts it all to DC, and the smoke unit is actually powered off of AC. Now, here's the big thing that happened. Why you see this giant glob of electrical tape. The smoke unit motor, the original motor, actually shorted out and exploded. It shorted out to the frame. That's where you get this like white residue here. It actually created a little bit of a fire. And yeah, that was not fun. So I went on eBay and bought a spare motor. So check this out. And if I can find it. I just put it back. It's like, why did I do that? Here it is right here. These little motors, they're called FF-N20 motors. I'll put it in the description of this video so you guys can check it out. These are fantastic. They have the screw points up here. So you just screw into the smoke unit. They're all tapped holes. So these run at 6 to 12 volts DC compared to the Lionel ones that come with these stock. They run from like 6 to 8 volts DC. These also spin at around 10,000 RPM compared to the one that I had here, spinning right around 6 to 8,000 RPM. You're probably saying, you know, it's not that big of a difference, but this smoke unit stays nice and cool. So she doesn't burp out too much smoke. It doesn't look like unrealistic if you're going for that, and it's not as intense. Now you can crank up the transformer. This is a conventional piece. Crank her up. She will smoke out the room, but once she gets moving, it's a very, you know, scale-esque smoke fluid stream. So, yeah, that's pretty much everything I did on here. And also, last but not least, when the motor blew up, my transistor blew up too, so I had to replace a transistor in that circuit. There's a voltage regulator circuit, and I believe it's like a half, or they call it like a half bridge rectifier. It's not a full bridge, but it's a rectifier circuit that takes your AC from these wires here. There's a resistor and a transistor and a capacitor. Bring it down to like, I believe 5 to 7 volts, and that's for your fan. Now the element, the smoke element in there, works off of AC. Gets nice and hot, and it's pretty crazy. If you look at the PCB board, you can trace it. You know, you can see where your AC is going and your DC, they're like right next to each other. They're also grounded to itself, and it sends it back to the circuit. It's pretty nuts, but it works. So we're going to get this all back together, and apologize for the mess. I mean, there is a mess of wiring in here. These are for the lights, smoke unit, power. You know, it's kind of crazy. So I'm going to put this all back together we'll get her running around the layout, and you guys will have a nice smoke show. All right, guys, our E7 is trackside, and you can see some smoke lingering on as it's doing a test run. So, yeah, first, she's going to want to start in forward, just like every other Williams locomotive out there. This is a conventional locomotive, so I'm going to stop her real quick. All right, put her in neutral. And we should see smoke from all 8 smoke ports here. This port back here is giving me some problems, but let's see what happens. 7 out of 8 ain't bad. It might loosen up as it goes around the track. So there you go. Got a bunch of B&O, C&O, and CSX cars to run. So here we go, guys. All aboard. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for this video, upgrading that beautiful E7 with smoke, and she looks awesome. I will say it was a challenge, and I accepted. And you guys even reached out and said, Nick, there's 8 stacks. Got that covered too. That one stack is clogged. I'll have to use a pipe cleaner to fix it. But it's running great. It looks awesome. She sounds great. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the footage of her going around the layout. But anyways, if any of you guys are new to the channel, always consider subscribing, giving one of these. It really helps out. Love reading your guys' comments. Until next time, everyone, happy railroading, and we'll see you next time. See you guys.